some of you may know me, and to those who don't, my name is Chris Buckley. I'm the one who started the idea of having a walkout, but that is all it was, an idea. Thanks to everyone that is here and to all our brave speakers, we are having this walkout. I would also like to thank our school for allowing the walkout to occur and working with us to make this a safe event. That said, please do not engage with anyone that is out here in opposition. I would like to start by sincerely thanking everyone that is here today. We ask that you please maintain social distancing and that if you have a mask and are currently not speaking, we encourage you to wear it. We also would like to ask that you follow all school rules. The walkout will last for about 30 minutes. When the bell rings, please start walking to your third block. And if you have a phone and would like to record, please do. In fact, we encourage you to record. As I said, thank you to everyone that is here. We are here today to show not only the school, but our entire community that we stand together against racism towards anyone of any race. And now, I'll hand it off to Josh Pickett, who will lead us into a moment of silence.
Would everyone bow their heads and get ready for a moment of silence? coming. There have been many things that we have been faced with this year. 2020 has presented us with the deaths of the NBA's most notable GOAT, Kobe Bryant, Chadwick Boseman, a great and inspiring actor, Naya Rivera, a spectacular actress, and Stan Lee, the magnificent Marvel writer. We have also seen a very deadly coronavirus, horrific firestorms in the west, and hurricanes in the east. As individuals, we have no control over their losses or these catastrophes. However, isn't it great to know that there is a pandemic that all of us can control? This pandemic has plagued us for many centuries is racism. Racism is prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism directed against a person or people on the basis of their membership of a particular racial or ethnic group. Racism can cause a person to feel pain, insecurity, bitterness, sadness, depression, unaccepted, hopeless, and even suicidal. No one at any time and in any area of their lives should be made to feel this way. Our differences make us who we are, and the world we live in would be very boring if everyone looked and talked the same. Instead, we should all have a great appreciation and respect for each other and our differences. If we were all supposed to be the same, then God would have made us the same. And I promise you, my God does not make mistakes. You may have noticed when I started this message, I talked about famous people of different races and genders, all of whom most of us have appreciated and enjoyed following and watching for one reason or another. Regardless of their differences, these people were talented and all had a positive impact on many people. Did their skin color make them any less talented? All of us as fellow students having feelings and our own personal struggles that we face. We never know the hardships of our classmates and others in our community, and we should never add additional burdens on anyone. Our human responsibility is to bear a burden and not to add one. Racism is a cruel and heavy burden for anyone to carry. It hurts me to think that anyone would feel burdened just because they had a different skin color than mine or yours, because this is cruel and senseless. Our different skin colors are not the problem, and they have never been, but the condition of our hearts certainly is a critical issue. Our thoughts, words, and actions are developed in the heart. If the heart is pure, our thoughts and actions are kind toward others. If it is wicked, our thoughts and actions are evil. Most of us love ourselves and our families. Our neighbors do not only include people who live close to us, but our neighbors are everyone else in this world. As Mark 12:31 says, we are commanded to love our neighbor as we love ourselves. My challenge for all of us is to be kind to everyone that we encounter. We are all in this together. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kaylee Bonglon, and I am grateful for this opportunity to speak to you all about one of my biggest passions. I'm glad I see so many familiar faces and new ones as well. We are all also aware of the incident that prompted this walkout, no? The hashtag is a human rights movement that promotes the idea colored lives are significant too, just as much as other lives. The movement also draws attention to the fact that Black lives in our country are still discriminated against through violence, police brutality, and mass incarceration. Its current goal is to bring one another together to combat this systemic racism and have awareness in regards to our fellow Black lives. We are all already aware why anti-racism matters, but we also need to be aware that we have the potential to be the how anti-racism is shown. Anti-racism is increasingly and meaningfully expressing its ideas to the public consciousness, and us standing here shows we have acted on our ability to express and support as well. More and more people today are opening their eyes and attempting to make a change, and of course there will always be some sort of retaliation. With this being said, we all can choose how to respond and act with this information. Our responses shall not be dismissive, however, because we need to proudly give our all to provide support to those around us. Our mindset needs to be naturally inclined to speak up against injustice today and be prepared for the unknown when dealing with racism. The sheer fact that I cannot say the movement by its official title already shows how anti-Black our community is. Mere advocating against racism is not a political statement. Kindness and attention towards our Black lives is something that should already come naturally, and to think that we have to walk out to collectively show our support is comforting yet woeful at the same time. My parking spot is 363, and every day I see political stickers on bumpers, windows, etc. How can this be displayed, but not our movement of anti-racism? The administration's hypocrisy is perplexing and should make you all wonder if they themselves really show concern or are allowing this today to satisfy the youth. Continuing, I have only faced prejudice this year, which also solidified my commitment to advocating anti-racism. When coronavirus was finally an issue in early March, I noticed there was a lot of ignorance and racism being demonstrated, especially in our county. I went to the grocery store to buy last-minute produce, and I got looked into the eye and told, "Go back to where you came from and take the Chinese virus with you." I was baffled. How could someone I never even met before assume I was a lesser being right then and there? Like I was the sole reason there is a pandemic beginning, and the funniest part is, I'm not even Chinese. I'm an American just as much as that person is. Now I want you to imagine our Black lives. How could they feel? This is not a pity party nor a competition to see who is suffering more. This is a real problem, and it is happening more often than we think. Our Black lives are at stake. They are in fear for their lives. They get anxious when they see police. They automatically assume that they will never get fair treatment as opposed to someone of a different color, and they never feel like they fit in. This is not okay whatsoever. Instead, they should always feel comfortable in their skin, just how everyone else is. They are just as American as I and you all here. Realistically, following the logic, go back to where you came from, and looking at our history, I'll let you all perceive that how you'd like. Skin color does not define a human being. In conclusion, seeing all of you here warms my heart. I love seeing us come together for a cause we all feel passionate about, especially human rights. Referring to what I said earlier, you standing here with me today already shows your willingness to change and be the voices against racism. We cannot sit around and hope for the system to get better. We have to act on our opportunities to help and fight for equality, because until there is justice, there will be no peace. Racial privilege has no place in our society, but empathy does. Black lives matter then, now, and always will. Thank you.
To those who do not know me, I am Jose Virgin Ortiz. Never in my life did I think I could proudly state who I am and what I stand for. Throughout my life, I was always afraid to speak out against injustices. I was always worried how my peers would perceive me if I had voiced my opinion in matters that were controversial. However, I cannot stand here today and be blinded by the racism that occurs around us. Today, we stand here in light of the racial injustices that not only occurs in our nation, but in our community as well. I will take this opportunity to remind you all that as a school, we will not tolerate nor continue to practice racism among ourselves. When I was asked to talk about the racism I had personally experienced, I had believed I'd experienced little to none throughout my life. I say this because as a minority, I had grown accustomed to the looks and judgments of others. Growing up, I was never aware that I was different. I remember having the confidence of being who I was and never questioning my culture. As I matured, I began noticing how others perceived me, as I had grown familiar with the ways others had behaved in my presence through their expressions. More specifically, it had become obvious to me at the age of 5 that I remember feeling alienated, not just by the language barrier at my school, but by the assumptions and jokes that my peers had given me as I was escorted to my ESOL class. Growing up in a Hispanic household, it was hard for me to learn the English language, as my parents weren't able to speak it. Moreover, it was hard for me to please my peers, who had constantly reminded me of the expectations of learning English, to not make them feel uncomfortable, when I was continuously mocked for my improper English, with snarky comments being thrown at me behind my backs. Even when I had excelled in learning the English language, at the age of 9, I was told to not speak Spanish to my fellow Hispanic friends, for the sole purpose that my native tongue had made my classmates uncomfortable. As a result, I had become less of myself as I tried to comfort those around me. I had begun to feel ashamed on occasions when I was asked to speak Spanish, or whenever my parents had asked me to translate for them in a public setting, and I was always self-conscious about speaking my native language to avoid the cruel stereotypes that, "This is America, speak English or go back to Mexico." Along with this stereotype, my skin had always given off the assumption of my legal status in this country. I remember being questioned constantly about my legality, from being misconceived as an illegal, and being classified with the assumptions that plague Hispanics in America today. It was always a shock to many that I was born in this country, and it only progressively got worse as others began to buy into the cruel stereotypes that all Hispanics are legal aliens. Furthermore, my academic abilities have often been misconceived, with many questioning my ability to excel in academic terms as well. With all this prejudice at hand, I've begun to slowly dissociate myself from my own culture, from being mean to avoid the judgment of strangers and peers. From the error of my own mistakes, I hope that each one of you remembers who you are, and to never let anyone change you from who you want to be. Be leaders and not followers, and never let anyone tell you differently. And most importantly, I hope that you all feel the pride of being the individual you are today. Be kind to one another and show those who oppose equality that we cannot be separated. As we stand here today, I hope you all remember that it does not matter what skin tone you bear, whether you are white, black, Hispanic, or of Asian descent. We can all stand united together. We cannot fall. With unity and genuine respect towards each other, kindness will speak louder than those who speak hate. Be true to yourselves and to those in your community. Thank you.
I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who took the time out of their day to participate in our event this morning. I hope after being here, it has given you all a new perspective on why it is imperative that we treat each other with kindness. There is no better time and place than right here, right now, to dedicate yourself to the fight against racism. Ibram X. Kendi, author of best-selling novel How to Be an Anti-Racist, defines anti-racism as one who is supporting an anti-racist policy through their actions or expressing an anti-racist idea. Using this definition, he is calling on his readers to take action, which is what I am calling on you to do as well. You should no longer stand by and watch. You should no longer stand by and listen. The only thing you should be is doing. You should be doing everything you can to stop racism if you witness it. You should be doing everything you can to stop and educate others. And most importantly, you should be doing everything you can to love one another. FBI reports show that 59.6% of all hate crimes in the United States last year were racially motivated. Statistics show that that number is rising significantly every year. I'm sure I can speak for most of you out here today when I say, I will no longer tolerate the mistreatment of my black neighbors. I will no longer tolerate the mistreatment of my Hispanic neighbors. I will no longer tolerate the mistreatment of my Asian neighbors. I will no longer tolerate the mistreatment of any of my neighbors. Friends, we are the future of this country, and it is our job to ensure that anyone who calls the United States their home is treated with the same respect and dignity as you would expect from them. Every day, you wake up with the choice of what you want to contribute to the world, and I ask you to please choose love. Choose love every single day. Choose love over hate, and choose love over racism. Whatever it may be, please just choose love. Thank you. That's all we have for you guys this morning. We just want to say thank you so much to everybody who came out to support, all of the faculty and staff who supported us and allowed us to have this safe event. Thank you to all of the police officers, all the media, anybody who just came to make this event what it was today. I do want to let you all know you are responsible for getting to your next block class on time. Don't shake your head.
Are you done?
I can be if you need me to be.
No, go ahead.
And I just want to once again say thank you so much. We are beyond blessed and thankful for each and every one of you who truly do have the love in your hearts to fight against racism.
Okay. Y'all listen up. We're going to go ahead and initiate the class change to get a third block. I'm going to release you in sections so we can social distance better going back in the building. We'll start kind of right here. So if you're right here, head on to the third block, okay?